My name is Winnie Kitaka. I am the author of a new book, Empowering Mothers to Mother. Later on, I'll go into the book, but before I do that, let me just give you background on who Winnie Kitaka is. I came to this country when I was 9 years old. I am one of 6 and came to this country, went to primary school, secondary school, college, and thereafter university. I graduated actually in international marketing and went on to get married and to have children. I'm a mother of 4. My babies are 7, 5 years, 3 years, and 14 months. And during my maternity leaves, I decided to, even though I'd worked with mothers in the community from a young age, from my church-going community, I'd worked with mothers. I studied and trained as a maternity nurse, and as I worked, and many times I worked nights because I looked after my children during the day, I came across many mothers, and something that struck me was these mothers lacked the confidence to be mothers. Now, being mothered by a strong, confident woman, I just found that really strange. And I say strange because many times when I went into these wonderful homes, these mothers seem to have everything. By everything, I mean the wonderful home, the wonderful car, the housekeeper. They seem to have the tools that they needed to be able to make their job easy, therefore just focus on being a mother. But even then, I found that they didn't have the confidence to be mothers. So to that end, I adapted my way of work. And by adapting my way, I went from just teaching how to feed the baby or how to sterilize a bottle or how to put the baby down to sleep, is to actually zero in and focus on the mother herself. And by focusing on a mother, what do I mean by focusing on a mother? Many times I will go in and the mother will tell me there's something wrong with my baby, she's not eating, and I'm convinced there's something wrong with the baby. And sure enough, many times when I work on observation night, number 1 is observation night, I'd observe the baby, and to that end, I will find there's absolutely nothing wrong with the baby. Most times there's absolutely nothing wrong with the baby. Then you find, well, what was the problem? The challenge was with the mom. The mom had insecurities. The mom had guilt. The mom had so many issues, underlying issues, that she lacked the confidence to be a mother. So I wrote this book. That the difference between my book and many books out there for babies or for mothers is that this book comes from the angle of the mother. This book comes in as to support the mother, not to tell you what a bad job you're doing. Because when you look in the media now, many times mothers are highlighted when they're not doing a good job. But this book comes in, or the Empowering Mothers to Mother message comes in to appreciate mothers, to listen to mothers, to tell you that yes, you're doing a good job, and also to tell mothers that it's okay to ask for help. And one of the things I do, apart from just having a book, when I wrote the book, I didn't want this book to be something that you will read and you tick off your list, I've read that book, put it on your shelf. But I wanted it to be a book that you can actually apply into your family situation, apply into your life, and let it make you see a difference in the way you mother. So to that end, I have developed a training program that comes from the book. And what I do, I run workshops. In fact, the next workshop will be on the 5th of April, this weekend, at the Holiday Inn Express, Greenwich. And the purpose of this workshop is to create a platform where mothers can come together, apart from them just hearing Winnie speak and empower them, but to be able to come together as mothers. And sometimes all a mother needs to know is, I'm not the only person that is going through this. Because we're living in a country where people are isolated. People sometimes have come from different countries, and sometimes they don't have the luxury of having family members. So many times you find, I worked with a client once, and she didn't have anybody. She had one friend and the husband, but she didn't have any family members, so she felt isolated and she didn't have anybody to go to. But by running workshops, it means you can come together on the same playing field as other mothers and learn from other mothers and be able to hear how the mother you've met, how she dealt with her baby when the baby wasn't sleeping, how she dealt with the issues of baby not eating, what tricks she had up her sleeve to feed the baby. This is why it's important, and I feel each mother should attend the workshop. And the other thing I've decided to do as well, because when I've gone in to meet mothers and they said to me, oh, Winnie, could you also see my friend? But I realized I can't really be in 10 places at the same time. So what I've decided to do is to, again, raise nannies that not only just show you how to change diapers, that not only just show you the basics, but actually come in and empower you. Nannies that don't come in to make you feel like you're incompetent or that you can't do the job, but nannies that actually leave your home, leaving you empowered, making you feel like, yes, you can do this. So I run an Empowering Mothers to Mother nanny mentoring program. And if you're a nanny out there and you want to get on the program, get in touch and email me at info@empoweringformothers.com and come to the program. Learn how to empower and work with mothers. Because let's face it, mothering is tough work. There's no easy way around it. And especially in this day and age, one of the things I am finding that sometimes the traditional ways of mothering, we need to adapt some of the traditional ways of mothering. And what do I mean? We're living in an age where technology is growing day by day. Let me give you a simple example. The mobile phone. When I was growing up, I didn't even have a mobile phone. But kids these days, they have access to the latest, the iPhones and your Samsung Galaxies. And these phones, kids can download videos, they can watch many things on these phones. And one of the things that I'm finding that sometimes mothers I don't know whether they don't choose not to or they don't have the time. We don't keep up with technology. But by not keeping up with technology, our children are being bullied online. Our children are being recruited into gangs. And as a mother, we can no longer afford not to know. The excuse or the line, "I didn't know," I don't believe is a line that any mother in this day and age can hold on to. We need to, as mothers, be empowered, get the tool, go back and study. Sometimes we say, "Oh, I don't have the time." But the beauty of this, my training program, is you'll be able to do it online. And also, sometimes give yourself a break. Give yourself 3 hours out of a month or 3 hours out of a whole year. Come to the program, pick up new tools, pick up new ways of how to discipline your children, because we're living in an age where some people don't believe in smacking a child. Well, maybe you've been brought up and all you knew was the stick or your mom gets the slipper, but you can't do that anymore. What are you going to do? What other tool can you use to actually help you discipline your child in a healthy way? And sometimes you're not going to get that off EastEnders. So as I would encourage all mothers, number one, buy the book. The book is available from Amazon. You can buy the book on Amazon. You can also go to my website, which is www.empoweringformothers.com, and get a copy of the book. And I would encourage even fathers, because we're living in a day because sometimes the mother goes out to work, and maybe as a father, you're the one that's staying at home raising the child. This information is information that you can use to help you as you take care of this child. And one last point I would really like to leave is as mothers in our generation, we need to be the role models for our children. Because when I look at television and I look at some of the music, some of the people that are being portrayed or being put forward as role models to our children, I wouldn't want my children to be like. So one of the things I have consciously learned to do, there's some things I won't do. Why? Because my babies are watching. So as a mother, the excuse is, "Oh, I'm just doing what I enjoy to do." I believe that the moment we become mothers, we take on that whole responsibility. And one of the things I found that as I'm mothering, one of the things, if I come across any situation, the first thing I think to myself is, what did my mother do when she was facing this? And if that's a good thing, then fantastic, I'm going to carry on doing something good. But if that was a bad thing, then what you're getting generation after generation is going to be carrying on the same mistake. So I would encourage mothers, wherever you were, be an example unto your children. Children are very good at copying. The best way to tell them, show them. Because have you ever had a situation, you say to your child, "I have told you this 100 times. Try showing them instead. Don't say to your child, "Smoking is bad," but they see you smoking every single day. Because at the end of the day, they will copy what you're doing. So as I finish off on this point, I would encourage you mothers. I believe you are a fantastic mom. I believe you can do the job. I believe the fact that you had that child, you have what it takes to be an empowered mother. But sometimes all you need is an extra tool, some extra information that you maybe had but were not sure. Maybe a checkpoint just to make sure, am I doing the right thing? And I would strongly recommend Empowering Mothers to Mother. To get the book is currently available from Amazon, and the book retails between £10 and £13. So just go to Amazon and just type in Winnie Kitaka or Empowering Mothers to Mother. You'll be able to access the book. Also, you will be able to access the book from my website, which is www.empoweringformothers.com. I also have a Facebook page, and I just want to thank all those of you that like the page. It's www.facebook.com/Winnie Kitaka. Follow me there. There I give free information, free advice on a daily basis, posts that will help you to be able to mother your child. And also, if you want to message me, you can message me on Facebook, or you can email me at info@empoweringformothers.com. Hi, my name is Winnie Kitaka. I am the author of the book Empowering Mothers to Mother. Last time I gave you a little background on who I am, how I came here when I was 9 years old, and a little bit about myself, how I got into the whole Empowering Mothers to Mother. But today I just want to go more into the book. And one of the issues that has come up lately, I've been reading a lot of articles in the news, is the issue of mothers returning to work. Is the issue of mothers having the flexibility at work to be able to return to work. I don't know about you, but I remember when I had my baby number 2, and I always take a year off work, but when I was ready to return into work, I remember feeling almost scared, feeling like I couldn't do the job, feeling like I was out of place. And sometimes, you return to work and maybe you haven't lost all your baby weight, and you walk into the workplace and you feel like you're not as good as everybody else. But one of the things I talk about in the book is a productive mother, mothers returning to work. What do you need to have in place as a mother as you prepare yourself from the day you start your maternity leave, by the time you get back, even before you have children? What is it that you need to make sure you have in place as tools or as support to help you return back to work? Because many times I have found if my babies are not well taken care of, I'm not able to work. So what are some of the things I talk about in the book that will help you as a mother to return to work? One of the things I talk about is having a support network. You've heard of the adage of, it takes a village to raise the children. I really believe that is true, especially in this country, because where people don't have family or relatives nearby, one of the things I have found that begin to cultivate or begin to develop relationships with people. We live in a country where people go by and they don't know what the neighbor's name is. You've never met your neighbor, you've never seen your neighbor. But one of the things I talk about in the book is creating relationship with key people. And what do I mean by relationships? I'll give you an example. One of my daughters, when she was born, she had what they call a viral-induced wheeze. And what that means, that every time she got a cold, sometimes she would have difficulty breathing. And a time came when this happened almost every other 2 weeks. I would end up in A&E. Now imagine if I am working, and I'm working whether it's part-time or full-time. That means every time my baby falls ill, I have to leave work and go and tend to the baby. Now don't think, oh, of course you have to leave work. Yes, it's true. But because it had happened for so long, I decided to train. In this case, it was a family relative, but it could also be a friend. I decided to train my younger sister, and by training, I made her come to my home every time my daughter had that issue, so that I told her everything that she needs to do. If my baby ever gets to that point, this is what you need to do. This is who you need to call. So I put it to the test. Same thing happened. I was at work. I just gave my sister a call. She went in and she was able to deal with my baby the way I would deal with my baby. Actually, sometimes even better, because as mothers, when anything happens to your child, your emotions kick in. and all reasoning is out the window. You just begin to panic. And even the things you know, sometimes it's almost like you don't know what you're doing. So that's why sometimes it's a good idea to have somebody that you trust, that you can call upon in times of emergencies. And I say to mothers everywhere, begin to create those relationships now. Don't wait when the trouble comes. It could be a neighbor. It could be somebody you went to school with. Begin to spend time with them. Begin to invest in these relationships so that you understand what they are. You understand what their beliefs are, what they believe in. So that when it comes to leaving them with your child, you have the confidence and the trust that if I leave my child with Layla or with Margaret, I'm confident that she'll be able to do a good job. So even as you're preparing to go back to work, or maybe you're in work already, or maybe you're thinking of having children, I would advise you to buy the book and learn how to cultivate those relationships. Learn how to be able to have in place. And the other thing that mothers need to have, again in the book, time management. I've worked as a PA for a very long time. And one of the things that people say to me, how did you manage to write a book and look after 4 children all at the same time? My answer, time management. I have a timetable in my house for everything. I need to know what's happening in my house from 6 o'clock when they wake up to 7 o'clock when they go to bed. If I'm not organized, then things just come up, not like a surprise, but you feel overwhelmed. So one of the things that a mother needs to be able to do, I believe, is you must be organized. You know, simple things like making, not simple, maybe to some people simple, like making meals. Plan your meals in advance. One of the things I do for my kids' breakfast is we sit down every month and we write down a menu. So we know in this month, Mondays we shall have this, Tuesdays we shall have this. So I know exactly what I'm going to be having or giving my children for breakfast for that whole month. So even when I go shopping, you know, sometimes you go shopping and you're thinking, what should I buy? What am I going to get? But if you have a plan, you must be organized. It makes your shopping quicker. You spend less money. And also, if you have some time, you can look out for the deals or the cheap deals because you already know what you're looking for. So time management, the other thing I talk about in the book and in my workshops is having me time. Now, I know all mothers and you were all wonderful people, but one of the things that I find, if I don't get any me time, I just lose it. It's like, I give this example. It's like imagine being on a treadmill. And you're on that treadmill non-stop. What happens eventually? You get off and you fall. So one thing I say to mothers is, learn to create me time. When can you have your me time? If you're a mother and your baby is between the ages of 0 and 2 years, children should still be able to have a nap, at least 2 hours nap every single day during the day. And sometimes I say to mother, those 2 hours, that's your me time. And so I teach you in the book, how can you have that me time? How can you teach your baby to sleep in those 2 hours? How do you teach your baby to sleep throughout the night? Sometimes some of your babies go to sleep at midnight, or your baby goes to sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, if you're tending to your baby from 7 when they woke up to midnight, where are you going to have any time for yourself? So I encourage mothers in the book is have me time, because it's important to be able to reflect, to be able to analyze. And also when you're mothering, one thing I find, when you're mothering more than one child, all children are different. And the biggest mistake you can make is to compare them one to another. Or if you say, why don't you do it like that child did it? Why don't you do it like Jenny did it? Because by doing that, you're setting your child up to always be competing with one another. One of the things I find is, I talk about in the book, how to prepare your child for a new sibling. You know, you're going to have a baby. How do you prepare your child for the new baby that is coming? How do you raise your children to all be confident children? How do you do that? In the book, I talk about that. And I would really encourage mothers, regardless of your background, especially now, maybe those who are coming from a background of where you need to go back to work. Some mothers, luckily, you don't have to return to work. But if you want to go back to work, or you don't have a choice but to return to work, it's important that you get these tools now, because even mothers who are on benefits, the government is bringing in laws that says when your child turns a certain age, whether you like it or you don't like it, they take those away and you have to return to work. So it's important that you get the knowledge now before you have to panic to get the information. So I would encourage you, once again, I run workshops. The next one is on the 5th of April 2014 at the Holiday Inn Greenwich. And I would welcome every mother to get to the program. To find out more about the workshop, go to my website. That's www.empoweringformothers.com. You can email me at info@empoweringformothers.com. Again, you can purchase the book from Amazon. Just go in, type in Winnie Kitaka or type in Empowering Mothers to Mother, and you could have access to the book. Once again, thank you for listening. Until next time.